Okay, who's ready for another High Vibe Live? Because I want to talk to you today about being forged in the fire, about this baby, the Phoenix, right? And I want to share with you because I was just in my Magnetic Sales Telegram chat. If you're not in there, by the way, go and get in. It's completely free. This is my behind the scenes transmission space where I share everything about how I move and how I lead myself as the embodiment of real and raw, as the fly on the wall behind the scenes as to like, oh, okay, this is what real and raw means. And there's something that I shared this morning. So let's take a seat and let's dive in to being forged in the fire and why so many of us, when we're in that expansion, right? We're in the midst of the weight and the pressure and we feel like the lid off a pressure cooker is going to like pop off. And sometimes, most of the time, we want to retreat, we want to retract, and we want to release. We want to release some of the weight, we want to retract some of the things that we're creating, and we want to release some of that burden, some of that heaviness. And so often, this is where we cap ourselves and we stay. And we think that it's misalignment, or we think that we've taken on too much and maybe it's not the right time for that extra thing that you added on. But really what is happening is you are in the midst of expansion, right? You are in the fire and you are literally being forged in that very moment. And it's, will you rise? Or will you chuck on the water and put the fire out before you get a chance to be forged, before you get a chance to be rebirthed, before you get a chance to become the version of you that is living through that heat? I'm not going to call it pain, but that heat. Because most entrepreneurs, they will not allow themselves to be forged. They will stay on the outskirts of that fire. They might get their hands a little bit warm, they might even burn the tip of their fingers, but they will not walk through those flames willingly. They might have a dark night of the soul, they might have a tower moment where everything collapses and they have to go through that heat because the universe is like, come on, buckle up, buttercup. But when it comes to choice, most entrepreneurs will not go through it, not fully. And what I want to share with you is a couple of stories about how I have gone through that fire and what has happened on the other side, and also what I was feeling in the midst of it, right? So I'm going to take you back. Back to August 2024, last year. Now, at that time, I was in the height of the Dare to Share challenge. We were coming off the back of a 3-month run of every single day doing a Dare to Share challenge interview. Every single day. Whilst I was like having holidays and living life and doing all the things, being a single mum, right? Every single day, I had a Dare to Share challenge. And this was really when the Real and the Raw movement started taking off. Drop me in the chat if you remember that, if you were part of that maybe. One of the OGs of the Real and the Raw movement, because they were the pioneers of it. They were the ones who saw the power that this movement was going to have because it hadn't yet been built. And they were like, we want to be a part of this. So hats off to you guys. Like, look where we are now. So when we came off the back of that, I had two choices, right? I was like, do we keep up with this momentum? Because everyone wants it. Everyone wants to be on the Dare to Share challenge. So do we keep up with that? Or do I allow myself to give up good for great? Do I allow myself to stop doing that and risk losing everything that we're building momentum on because I want to go bigger? Because I feel the pull that there's something more, right? How many of you will give up good for great? How many of you will stop doing something that is working, that is bringing in results, that is bringing in sales, that is fulfilling you, because you feel a pull to something bigger? Drop me in the chat if you would do that. And I absolutely commend you if you would, because not many will. So my choice was that. And I decided to go bigger. I decided, okay, Dare to Share Challenge has been incredible, but I want to take it bigger. We had already moved from Instagram to YouTube. We had already done one leap there. And it was like, hey, what's the next level? What's the next level to this? And so we stopped. And I decided I was going to create my first summit. Now, I'd never created a summit before, but I had spoken on them. And I knew that I wanted to create one. I knew that I wanted to experience what that would be like. And also, I wanted to test out if that was something I wanted to do, right? Was creating summits something that I wanted to figure out and to do and to offer to people? Was that part of my path? Again, how many of you will allow yourselves to try something, to try it on, to see, is this something that I want to do or not? And allow it to be either. Allow it to be good, to be not good, not the right thing, because you tried it. Love you if you do that. So, I decided I was going to create my first summit. Now, this is where we talk about being forged in the fire, right? So, I had never created a summit before. I'd been part of them. And I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I had no clue how to run a summit. I had no clue. I didn't even know what, oh my God. I did not know, and probably best because I might not have ever done it if I did. I did not know the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes in creating a summit. If you have never created one, you do not even know. Speaking on a summit is very different to building one. There's so much work. I did not know this. I was very naive. But that can be a blessing, right? Because naivety can allow us to actually try something that maybe we don't realize is quite as hard as we think. But in doing that, we become someone as we do it. So I say, yes, I'm going to do this thing. We stop the Dead Share Challenge as we know it, and we focus on building a summit. And I had 1 month. I had the idea on, I think, the 1st of August, and we were going to do it on the 1st of September, my birthday. I don't know, I think actually it was the 7th of September, so it was just after my birthday that we actually went live with it. It was a live summit. So we had 1 month. Now, as soon as I said, yes, we're going to do this, it's line in the sand, right? Commitment. And then everything starts snowballing. And this is where we have to release the how and realize that it's not actually the how that we need, it's the courage that we need. Because I'd been so in my head about how do I create a summit. This is why I hadn't ever done it before, even though I'd been part of speaking in summits for a while at that time. The how stopped me, but I don't know how. Once I know how, then I'll do it. Yeah, when I know how, I'll do it. How can we ever know how until we do it? We're getting this backwards. Logic is talking us out of it because logic is fear. Fear is talking us out of it because we don't want to get it wrong. We don't want to mess up. We don't want to make a fool of ourselves. We don't want to be seen as a newbie. Right? We don't want to get it wrong. Maybe we lose our credibility and our authority and our clients even, God forbid. But we cannot know the how until we do the thing. And most people will not share what they're learning, right? They won't share that until they get to the other side. And they're like, oh yeah, I figured all that out. This is how. Well, there's no leadership in that. There's no leadership in that. That's just storytelling. A bit like I'm doing now, right? This is not leadership, what I'm doing now. This is storytelling. We'll get to the leadership at the end. So relatable. Confidence comes from self-trust. Yes, confidence comes from doing the thing. Confidence is the competence repeated over and over and over again. You cannot be confident until you do the thing. Confidence is not something that you have, it's something that you earn. It's something that is given to you. It's something that you build and you cultivate over time, the compound effect. Okay? We don't need confidence, you need courage. You don't need confidence, you need courage. So, we're doing this summit, right? No idea what I'm doing. I'm just taking the next right step. I'm in the fire. I am in the fire. I've committed to this summit. And when I commit, I commit. There is no going back. I commit, I am all in. Come heaven, hell, earth, I am doing the thing. I might do it scared, I might fuck it up, but I'm doing the thing, you best believe. So we're in the fire. And this is the moment I want to speak to you about. I remember we're about halfway in, like halfway through August, right? And I'm booking speakers are paying to speak on my summit. Like, it's the first summit I've ever done. And I'm like, well, people need to pay me because, like, how am I going to earn some money? Like, I need to be paid to do this thing, right? And it was that energy of, I deserve to be paid to do this thing. Like, there's so much work going on. And also, you're not paying me for a speaking spot. You're paying me to be part of this experience, part of this movement, part of this legacy that we are building together. So anyway, that was not a problem. I had people literally inundating me to be part of this because the real and the raw movement is so powerful, even in those early stages. So I remember being on a call to my mentor, and it was a hot seat. And she was asking us, like where we're at, how we're doing. And I was like, honestly, it feels like a lot. Like, I feel like I'm spinning so many plates, and like, I don't know if I can hold it all. I don't know if I can hold it all. Like, what do I do? Literally, I was like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. How do I do all this? And she said to me, and I'll never forget, she said, I could tell you to get help. I could tell you to drop some of those plates, right? Like the less important ones, the low-hanging fruit, as we would call it. Or I could tell you that you are being forged in the fire. That you are in the expansion right now. That you are literally becoming the person that you said you wanted to be right now. And if I tell you to do any of those things, I would be doing you a disservice, because I would stop you from becoming, right? I would be trying to relieve your short-term pain, but it's actually going to hinder your long-term gain, your identity shift, your evolution, your expansion. Are you hearing what I'm saying here? Our job is not to make someone feel comfortable. It's to hold them in the discomfort, knowing that it is in that discomfort, it is in that fire that they are being forged, that they are elevating into their next level. And so I was in this fire, and I desperately wanted to run out. I desperately wanted to run out. But I had such a great mentor that she held me in it, and she allowed me to see what was happening from a different standpoint, from a different perspective. And when I saw that, it gave me the strength to carry on, to know that on the other side, the weight will be released because I'll be on the other side, right? That the summit would have been done. There'll be no more pressure of that thing. And I will be someone else. I will be someone who created this thing that I said for so long that I wanted to create, but I didn't have the courage to do it. I was waiting for the house, but I didn't need the house. I needed the courage. And I'm becoming her. I'm becoming her right now. And so that was my first experience of really being forged in the fire from a perspective of understanding it, from a perspective of knowing what was happening. And sure enough, on the other side of that, I was like reborn not for the first time, but like, again, reborn at such a level of awareness that it was like, wow. It was like an adrenaline rush, right? It was like that hit of endorphins of like, let's go again. That was incredible. Like, that was incredible. And sure, there were lessons that I learned. The summit was by no means perfect. It was a crazy experience, but it was so expansive and it was so much fun. Like, when I released it being pressure and allowed it to be fun, right? Like, finding the fun in the chaos, finding the beauty in the messy middle. That was when I started to enjoy the experience and not see it as like, oh, I can't wait for this to be over. But like, oh my God, this feels so stretchy, but it's still also incredible that I get to feel this, that I get to experience this, because most people in the world don't. They will never stretch themselves that far. They will never push their edges that far. They will never, ever really know what they're capable of, because they play it safe. They stand beside the fire. They don't jump in it. So that was the first experience, right? And then I want to bring you to now, because just because we do it once, it doesn't mean that we don't get this lesson again, right? It's a repetition. It's not like you do it once and you're a master. None of us ever have a destination that we are going to get to and that we're like, oh, I know everything now. Like, nothing left to learn here. Like, if you knew that, you'd be dead because your whole point of life would be gone. We're here to learn. We're here to experience. We're here to evolve and to help others on their journey. So this is like the interesting part, right? I also always knew that I wanted to create an in-person event. And I actually did one years ago when I had my crystal business, but very, very different, very small scale. And I knew for the last couple of years that I wanted to create an in-person event, but like a big international in-person event, like at a cool venue. And but I really wanted it to be something that people talked about, right? But I didn't know what it would be at that time. Anyway, again, even though I had had that experience and I knew everything that I knew from doing the summit, this was a new level. This was another stretch. And it was one that for a long time I wasn't willing to do. It was too scary. It was like almost too much visibility. Like, what if that doesn't go well? The whole world has its eyes on me. Like, you can't hide behind a screen of an in-person event, right? Like, people are in the room. And it was a level of fear that kept me beside the fire. So after the Dad Says Summit, I was like, let's go again. Let's do an even bigger summit. That's when the Legends was born. That was fine. Because then I had a little bit of confidence built from the competence. I had a little taste of what it was to create and a little bit of the how. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's go again, but bigger this time. And that's when we had like over 40 speakers for the Legends Summit. But that doesn't mean that every fear that I had was ready to be overcome, right? And this is the journey of being forged in the fire. This is the journey of releasing the how and leaning into the courage. And it wasn't until I went to an in-person event late last year, a Tantra event, doesn't even matter what kind of event, right? It was like doing a thing that I knew I wanted to do, getting in the room, in the actual physical room where you can't hide, and allowing myself to become the person. Because I always said that I wanted to go to a Tantra event, but I never went. I couldn't find one. They weren't at the right times. I had the kids. Didn't work. Excuses keeping me stuck, keeping me beside the fire. And it wasn't until I got the courage to actually go, and 6 hours later, coming out of that event, knowing who I now was, knowing that that was an experience that gave me so much courage and so much confidence in who I am and the power that I have and my own self-leadership, that I was ready to do my in-person event. Literally the next day, I put the date in for Real and Raw Live. The next day, I was like, okay, it's time to commit. I put the date in, and when I confirm something, when I commit, it's done. It's done, right? So I put the date, it was done. Because I knew that when I did that, there was no running. It was like, we're all in, baby. We're all the way in the fire. And now we have to feel the heat. Now we have to stay in the fire until we are forged. Not run from it, not cry for help. I'm not saying can't get help, but not like trying to look for someone to save us, but allow the flames to forge us. Yeah? Are you getting this? Are you hearing what I'm saying? So when I committed to that date, it was like the how didn't matter anymore. The how revealed itself because I was the person who was creating the in-person event on June the 1st. I was no longer the person who just wanted to create an event one day. How are you going to get a how? How are you going to get a how when you're not there? Are you picking up what I'm putting down here? How are you going to get a how when you're not there? You have to be there. You have to be the person. You have to be of that frequency so that the universe can match that and be like, oh, she's doing this. Now we can show her the how, right? Divine synchronicity, divine timing, everything happening for me and not to me. Suddenly, miraculously, the right people dropping into your world. Oh, I know how to do that. Oh, I've done that before. Oh, I'm more than happy to give you advice. Oh, where have you been all my life? Well, they've been on the outskirts of your vision until you became the person who was ready to match their frequency, who was ready for the universe to put in your path, because now you are that person. Tell me that you're getting this. Please get this, because it is so important. We hide in logic, we hide in how, we hide in rationality, but the how is never, ever, ever going to reveal itself until we commit, until we become, until we get our skin in the game, until we captivate the courage and do the thing. Do the thing. Commit to the thing. And so I had that date, and since then, since what that was like November, I think, I've been in the fire all this time. All this time. Like, do you think that I'm not scared about creating my first international event? You can bet your bottom dollar I am. I'm like shitting myself. But also, I am enjoying the process. I am being in the journey. I am feeling the heat and letting it forge me. I am sharing every part of it, because that is what real and raw leadership is. I'm not waiting until after the event to say, oh, and by the way, 6 months ago, I didn't know how I was going to do this, but I figured it all out and now I can teach you how. No, that is not leadership. Leadership is right now, here we come to the leadership, in showing when you're in that fire. When, whilst you are being forged, how you're feeling, what you're experiencing, what you're navigating, and how you are staying there. You're not running from it. You're not stepping back out just to like cool off a little bit and then get back in. You are in it and you are committed and you remain in it until you are forged, until it is done. And then you are reborn. Then you are the phoenix. And then you get to go again and you get to choose your next fire. Because we are the crazy 1-2%. We don't just stay on the sidelines. We want to be reborn. We want to be reforged. But our subconscious mind, our human, does not. And so it's this battle. It's this battle between our soul and our human. And it's this combination and this like dance of both. Of knowing that the human is here to feel, and if we allow that human to express and to share and to show, which is what real and raw leadership is, the soul can be expressed. The soul can have its desires. The soul can be fulfilled in following its purpose, in doing the things that it wants to do, in creating the things that it wants to create, because our human feels safe to be seen. Oh, that was good. So right now, we are in the fire, baby. Like, we are in the fire. We are being forged. I do not have all of the answers. I have no idea how this is all going to turn out. But I know for sure that after June the 1st, I will be reforged. I will be reborn. I will be a different person. I will be the person that I wanted to be for so long. I will be the person that I wanted to be for so long. Because I finally had the courage. I finally stopped listening to the how, looking for the how, listening to the logic, hiding behind the rationality, hiding behind the what ifs, buts, maybes, what ifs, said that. And I just did it anyway. And I said, I'll figure it out as I go. And I'll share it as I go. And I'll show it as I go. And I will be the embodiment of the change that it is that I stand for as I go. This is what turns your business into a movement. A business will keep you working forever. A movement will build itself. It will captivate people's hearts and their souls because they see you, they feel you, they connect with you, they relate to you. And they want to be in your world and they want to lead side by side with you. They see how you lead yourself and they want to be a part of that. And they know that you're their person because they see everything that you do, because you share it. You don't gatekeep it. You don't hide it. You don't try and have this perfectionist, curated content all the time. You just show who you are as you live it. And the more that you allow yourself to live, right? This is a key part here. The more that you allow yourself to live, the best story that you have, the more experiences that you have, the more you stretch yourself, the more you can share of how you lead yourself, of who you are, of how you move, of your courage. Because people don't buy what you teach, they buy who you are and how you move. What you teach them becomes the byproduct of that. Your modalities, your tools, your frameworks, like the raw framework, the connection catalyst, like they're all things that are a byproduct of being in my world. But people pay because they see how I move. They see the risks that I take. They see the actions that I take. They see the moves that I make that make no sense on the outside, like giving in my notice as a single mom in a house in London with no place to even move to yet. And it's like those crazy things that show our courage. And that's what builds a movement. So, to finish this off, to wrap it all up, it's 11:11 as well. The fire is here to forge you. The key comes from sharing who you are in that fire, showing who you are becoming in that fire, allowing people to be on that journey with you in their own fires, because they see how you lead yourself, because they see your level of courage. Stop waiting for the how and lean into the courage. You don't need a how. You don't need confidence. You don't even need competence. You need courage. You need desire. You need passion. You need a little bit of crazy. A little bit delulu, right? In the best way. You need to believe. You need to have trust. You need to surrender. And you need to allow people to feel your heart, to connect with your soul, to have that soul sister connection, right? That like coming home, that like, you are my person. Let's get in the fire together. Yes, let's be forged together. Like that is what will build your movement. So, next question. Are you waiting for a how to get your ticket to Real and Raw Live? Oh, it's a big fly. Are you waiting for the diary to clear? Are you waiting for more funds to come in? Are you waiting for logic to make it make sense? Logic is never ever going to make it make sense. Because logic is here for the majority. It's here for the majority, and you're not the majority. You are the minority. You don't serve the masses. You serve the few. And so, why are you moving like the masses do? Why are you thinking like the majority do? We have to think in a different way. We have to continue to move in a different way. We have to continue to push our own edges, to stretch our own edges, and to share the journey, to show the courage, to live the best life so that we have the best stories to tell. That's like a real key, right? Like living our best life, doing the scary thing over and over and over again, so that we have the best stories to tell, because it's through stories that we show who we are and how we move. And that's what people buy, who we are and how we move. Oh my gosh, this feels so good. This feels so juicy. I felt like this should be a masterclass in itself. Maybe it will be one day. But forged in the fire. If you're not in the fire right now, then you're in your comfort zone. There's a thought. If you're not in the fire right now, you're in your comfort zone. What is your next edge? Where's your next stretch? If you're not expanding, you're dying. You're shrinking. Oh, that was juicy. I don't know where that came from. Drop me in the comments. I want to know what fire you are in right now. And go live about it. Share about it. Show it. Tag me so that I can cheer you on for diving into that courage, for showing that real and raw leadership, because I will always support real and raw leaders who are here to remove the masks, to remove the smoke and the mirrors, and to show their hearts at their fullest, to show what true self-leadership is. I will always cheer you on. Whether you're in my world or not, I will always cheer you on. So tag me. Show me how you are rising to the plate, how you are being the change maker of your own story, for your own community, in your own legacy. This is what we do over here. Oh my gosh, this has felt so good. Oh my God, this definitely needs to be a paid masterclass. So, I love you all. Let me know in the comments what fire are you in. Tag a friend so that they know that they need to get back in the fire. Maybe they've stepped out and they haven't realised it yet, and they're just burning the tips of their fingers, baby. You're not going to get forged there. You might get a nail. You might get a new nail. That's about it. We don't want new nails. We want new bodies, new identities, new being. That's what we want. So tag me below. Drop me in the DMs. What fire are you in? And what is your next edge? Where is logic holding you back? Where are you talking yourself out of doing the thing that you actually know you desire to do? That is your next step. So good. Okay, you know where to go. All of the things. Real and Raw live tickets still on sale at the moment. There are still some left. $199 for general admission, $999 speaker spotlight. Get over there, because that journey in itself is showing people how you move. Take them on the journey with you. It's going to be incredible. I love you all. Here's to being in the fire. Mwah! Bye for now.